the fun part. I'm really, really excited to be introducing all of you to our community and county resilience capacity area co-chairs. Every single one of these individuals is a strong force of nature in their own right. You know them, they're household names in community because of the incredible work they are doing to not just build community, but to really show leadership in an aloha-driven way. So over the next 20 or so minutes, I will be introducing the various co-chairs so that they have a chance to share with you what they have been doing over the last 90 days and what their goals and visions are for 2022 and beyond. For the Social Resilience Capacity Area, community co-chairs are Smiley Burrows and Greg Armstrong, county co-chair Sharon Hirota. Please welcome Sharon Hirota providing the update for the Social RCA. Sharon?
Thank you, Ashley. Aloha, everyone. Thank you for providing space for our resilience capacity area around social to share this evening. So I first want to give my utmost gratitude to both Smiley Burrows. I see her, she's in the Pahua office. Hey, Smiley, very well known in the community, and her energy is just, she just beams with energy. It's hard to not get energized when you're in the room with her, even if it's virtual. Greg Armstrong, unfortunately, could not be here this evening, but certainly another staunch supporter of the work that we do. I also want to give, we as a group, we're social people, and we meet often. So we meet every Monday morning from 8:30 to 10 via Zoom. And I'm just always impressed with with people who continue to show up and share their mana'o and share their vision as we work around our common goals, which we've identified as looking at continuing to look at opportunities to build capacity around resilience hubs, looking at emergency and disaster preparedness based on what has already been created, and how do we build capacity to have these types of preparedness plans in various communities within Puna, looking at health and well-being as well as our food systems. Next slide. So when we look at what we've done over the last few weeks as we convene, our list continues to grow, but still focus on these areas, working with our civil defense in finalizing the emergency response plan that was created by the Leilani Estates Community Association. And then we're also looking, there is interest in other communities within Puna to create one specific for their community. So we'll be hosting, or at least have plans to host how to get ready to start creating a plan in the very near future. Project 360 completed the creation of these Ohana emergency plan booklets, and we're slowly getting them out into the community. We're also looking at designing asset and vulnerability maps, looking at addressing the needs, and not only the assets, but the needs of our vulnerable community members, and really using the approach of taking care of our neighbors. Emergency prep materials we talked about for those that have short-term or long-term renters, even vacation renters in the Puna area. How do we ensure that the renters and these guests know what to do in times of disaster? And then another thing is also taking care of our animals, our livestock, as well as our pets, to make sure they're taken care of in times of disaster. And lastly, when we look around our work around resilience hubs, looking to identify existing sites and learning from them as to how we can build capacity, and certainly having some active conversations with different community organizations as to how they can become a hub within their own community. Collaborating with the economic and build to host informational workshops, leverage resources, and start mapping out locations. Health and well-being, creating Director of Health and Wellness Services. We also have the privilege of having Steve Sparks, who's the president of the Puna Community Health Center Foundation and the work that they're doing in bringing or building capacity on health services in the Puna area. And then around food distribution, special mahalo to Smiley and Home Depot. She really went out on the limb and got thousands of packets of seeds donated to our community and working tirelessly to get this out into the community. So in a year or 6 months from now, our areas will be blooming with flowers and fruits and trees. So we're just excited about that opportunity. So thank you for allowing us. You are all invited to join us Monday mornings, 8:30, as part of our active conversations and continuing on to develop our plans. So thank you, mahalo.
Thank you, Sharon. I also wanted to invite Smiley Burrows. Smiley, if you would also like to provide some remarks about your experience working in this space.
Can you see me, Ash?
We can see you and hear you.
I just want to say mahalo for giving me the opportunity to join in with you guys and work on all of this wonderful, wonderful things that we've been really embarking on. It's been a wonderful time to integrate all of the different areas of the community and get together every week and really put our energy towards the future for preparing ourselves with sustainability and disaster preparedness. So we're just getting started and I'm so excited to continue this effort and thank you so much. Mahalo nui loa.
Mahalo, Smiley, Sharon, Greg, for your leadership, and to all of your action team members for their contributions. Thank you. Before I introduce the co-chairs for the Cultural Resilience Capacity Area, I did want to welcome and mahalo our state representative, Gregor Ilagan, for logging in and joining us. We really appreciate having members of the state, specifically those that represent Puna, in attendance so you can hear all of the incredible work that's happening by county and community and find ways to support us and better align as the state. So mahalo nui, Gregor, for being here. Wanted to introduce our Cultural Resilience Capacity Area co-chairs from the community, Leila Kealoha and Leah Gauker. Our county co-chair is Bob Agris. I believe the individual providing the report is Leila. Leila, you have the floor.
Mahalo, aloha everyone. So yes, I'd like to start with just thanking Bob Agris for his amazing support and guidance in this process, working with the county. He's just an amazing person. So mahalo nui, Bob, for just being there for us and helping us and listening to us and hearing us. I'd also like to thank Leah Gauker for just taking a leap and joining us as our new community co-chair. I'm super thankful to have you on here with us, and it really does help having other people support, especially Leah, in this process. And I'd also like to thank all of those that are on our Cultural Resilience Action Team. There's quite a few that join us. We were having meetings on a weekly basis up until December, like the first week of December. So I'd like to thank all of them for their hard work and their time that they've dedicated to helping us with our Cultural Resilience Capacity Area. With that being said, so the Cultural Resilience Capacity Area, our capacity to maintain and develop cultural identity and cultural knowledge and practices. We are given this opportunity through our Resilience Capacity Area to focus on Malama Bahiku Puna, placemaking or creative placemaking and culture-based education through community-based initiatives supported by county and state enforcement, deepening our understanding and connection to places, teaching residents and visitors how to respectfully interact with their island home by uplifting local knowledge and wisdom. So a brief overview of what we've been doing for the past couple months. A lot has happened, a lot's been going on. We continue to work in the area of Malama Bahiku Puna, lifting up the mo'olelo of place through development of interpretive signage and programs at Pohoiki. We did spend some time trying to work with different areas along our coastline, but the main focus for us right now is to really center our focus in one space and one place, which is Pohoiki and Isaac Kipo Okalani Beach Park and our ohana in that area, and working with 4 different resilience capacity areas are cultural, the DPR built, and economic. We are still, we still partner with the hospitality industry to expand culture-based education programs for residents and help visitors to understand, learn from, and be Pono in our island home. Our efforts to convene and organize Ohana, who steward the Lower Puna coastline to protect the cultural and natural assets of resources, has been a process. And, it's not easy to get all of our families together, but I'm so thankful to see there's lots of our families here on this Zoom this evening. Aloha and mahalo for being here. Know that your voices are being heard, and thank you so much. So also, like I mentioned, restoring the Isaac Hale Park. So we're strategically focusing on working with the county to root efforts to restore and revitalize our beach park in an awareness and understanding of the work of Ohana, who have stewarded the area for generations and who continue to practice the kanawai and kapu for the area within today's context. So it's a work in progress, and I'm so thankful. We had 3 meetings with Ohana over the last month down there. Yeah, about a month. And it was very successful, and it was really nice to see families that I haven't seen in a long time come out and really share their mana'o and their ike about Pohoiki and what they would like to see back in that space. So we're working on demonstrating and modeling or templating an approach. So take a deliberate and intentional approach to work with county to think through what these generational practices mean as we move forward to restore infrastructure and sustain ongoing operations and management moving forward with an eye to applying lessons learned in other community or county partnerships to malama our cultural assets and practices to strengthen our cultural resilience. So we've been able to really work with the county in this process, and it's been very nice to be heard for all of us. So mahalo to them. Let's see. So connecting also with partnering with the hospitality industry. We're connecting with the culture-based education programs in the county to work with these tour operators and people that are coming into our spaces and our places to really help them to become aware and to educate the visitors coming into our places, so they understand how to be their lavena, how to behave, should I say, in our spaces and our places. So that's a work in progress still as well. I think it's the last one.
It's the last slide, Leila.
Yeah, okay, sorry, I'm looking at my paper. That's the last thing. So really, we just want to thank the county and our community and our Ohana for really working on this project at Pohoiki and bringing and restoring this place for us as family, as community. And that is our primary focus at the moment. We cannot expand too far out there because there's so much. We've been having meetings every week, and it's a lot to really encompass. And so that's where our focus is right now, is really being in that space. And later we'll hear about the boat ramp from the state perspective, because that is their kuleana, and working together with the state and the county to really accomplish these different things that we need to have happen. So anything else that Bob or Leah wants to share, I welcome that. Mahalo.
Mahalo, Leila. Any other quick mana'o from Leah or Bob? Okay. Mahalo nui, Leila, Leah, and Bob for your continued leadership in this space. It is not easy work. It is work that we are having to undertake for many years, many decades. So thank you for your dedication and your diligence and your real focus on this. Next up, update from the Economic Resilience Capacity Area. Community co-chairs include Susie Osborne and Brent Norris. I co-chair from the county side. Mahalo nui, Susie, for providing the report for the Economic RCA.
Okay, aloha mai kako, o Susie Osborne ko Uinoa. I am the co-founder of Ho'oululahui and Kuokala Charter School, as well as the president-elect for our little but mighty Poa Rotary Sunset Club. I just really want to thank Ashley and the county for all their incredible work and vision. You know, this is as difficult as this process has been. It's really groundbreaking to have the county take this step to engage with the community in the way that's happening. I don't think we've ever seen this before. So it's quite remarkable. And I just really want to stop and just take a moment and acknowledge that and thank them for this time together and all the opportunities for the community to engage through these capacity areas. When Ashley asked me to co-chair this Komike, have to say I was a little nervous. I'm like, oh my goodness, can I keep up with her? We know what a powerhouse she is. I'm sure glad I did. One of her first statements to me was, you know, put on your seatbelt, let's go. And so we have, and we're going. And also a shout out and thanks to Brent Norris. We meet the third Thursdays from 4 to 5:30 via Zoom. We really welcome everybody to join us. Really, the economy sort of fits into every area. It's not siloed out. So we need your input. Some of our areas are resilience hubs, technology and innovations, and industry and workforce development. Next slide, please. So we set out, oh my goodness, I'm sorry, Ashley, I know you said you were revising things and I didn't really get to look at it, but some of the things we've been doing, oh, shucks. I'm going to start with Paint the Town. This was one of our, we established 90 days goals, as I think you all understand at this point. And one might ask why is Paint the Town an economic initiative? Well, paint it and they will come. If we can refresh our town and our place and bring life and joy to it, people will come, and that will help all of the economy of our Puna community. I really want to thank Nancy Seifer. She's taken an initial great leadership role in this. She's done an amazing thing. She's researched the historical, what all the different buildings were over the last, from the 50s, around that time. And she engaged over 6 weeks with PAS students, 5 kupuna and 8 haumana, and went around and spoke to the different community members and then created a report for us as we're looking at our next steps, which is seeing how we can engage the community in and looking at the different buildings and what refreshing they want done, whether it's just a trim job or a full paint job. It's really amazing. And then what we also want to do is put plaques on honoring what the buildings were. So for example, did you know that where Nikoko is now, it was a barber shop from 1940 to 1975? There was a tofu factory that burned down in 1954 beside Kaleo's. There's so much interesting history, and it's really good to uplift that and acknowledge that. The next steps that we're going to do is that we will be getting lots of volunteers. Ashley secured $13,000 from community in order to supply the paint and everything. So we need lots of volunteers to do this. As you heard from Leila, we engaged with the Pohoiki for the Revitalize Pohoiki initiative. We're collaborating with the social and built to identify resilience hubs. There's a lot of upfront work that's been done on that through Vibrant Hawaii. So we'll build upon that work with mapping. And another one is our economic development survey. We thought it would be really prudent of us to create a survey, which is what's being worked on right now, and put that out to the community at large and the businesses to see what people feel the needs are. We also have launched a digital literacy program, and it's for kupuna and mostly and others that really need some basic computer skills. We see with this era how challenging it is, especially for many of our kupuna, to be able to navigate this world. So we want that to be supported. So a free computer, classes come with that, and that's just really exciting and amazing. Next slide, please. And I'm really sorry I didn't get caught up on our slides. Well, so here we are. These are some of our goals that we identified. Identifying our North Star, paint Pahoa Town, technology and innovation, developing the survey, the resilience hubs, which is a collaboration, and Revitalize Pohiki. So next slide, please. I kind of went over all of those.
Susie, that's the final slide. This
Okay,
is-
perfect. Okay, so let me see if I had anything else that I wanted to just sort of address. I think that's about it, because Layla really covered the meetings with Poiki. Anything that Brent or Ashley want to contribute?
Oh, I would just echo what you said about the digital literacy program. You know, Janice's work there as a program lead has been awesome. Noel and Jane, that program is in really great hands, and the instructors are being trained. And if anyone is interested in learning how to use a laptop, this is the program you want to get involved in. Thank you.
Mahalo, Brent. And I just want to really finalize with reiterating our desire that this is a Kako thing. This is for our community. We need and welcome everybody's voice. So please engage if you can. And we're really looking, we really want to do meaningful, deep, impactful work for the long-term recovery and getting to a place of thriving for our community. So these are small little action steps to give us some wins and to, you know, get things moving. But engage with us, please. There's a lot of work to do, and it will be joyful, and everybody will be uplifted, because what we want to do is ho'oululahui, uplift our community. So mahalo.
Mahalo nui, Susie. It is a pleasure to work with you and Brent and the diverse set of community members on these various initiatives. It really is a privilege, and I'm very excited about all of the work that we've catalyzed. And what I found, you know, at the end of the day, we have a really impressive, unique and creative community. All folks really needed as a chance and resources to make things happen, which is why this convening through Revitalize Puna and the capacity areas is really making all that difference. So mahalo nui. Our next capacity area, built environment, co-chaired by community member Antiku'ule Cooper. Our county co-chair is Garrett Smith. Garrett, invite you to provide the update for this built RTA.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hello, co-chair. Welcome everybody this evening, and I appreciate, want to express appreciation to all the built environment team members. We've had some fabulous discussion over the last couple months, ranging from the whole gamut of issues, whether it be infrastructure to projects to funding, trying to get involvement with the state level as well. So I really do appreciate everyone's involvement. And just make a little plug, if you have interest in this area, please let us know. We'd love to broaden the discussion and reach for potential projects that we can both leverage community and county support on. I guess in the interest of time, I'm going to sort of go through relatively quickly. The slide you see before you, again, identifies when we meet. We've been generally meeting the second Wednesday of the month. Caveat here, we did cancel this week's meeting in preparation of tonight. But we will be reconvening shortly for some additional project movement forward. As far as our overall vision, again, we've been trying to look at a number of things that are associated with built or lack of building as well. And that involves, you know, as it says, you know, connectivity, infrastructure, looking at housing options and so forth. Would you please go to the next slide? This is a snapshot you probably have previously seen from the prior engagements. And I wanted to sort of bring attention to this. You've heard it from some of the other co-chairs as well. A lot of the work we do really does overlap. You know, there's, for example, the Resilience Hub. It's been an interest of various community members, various RCAs. So again, we each have our own role of how we want to help move that project forward. So again, this is just sort of an overview of at least the latter three bullets, some of the different projects that are sort of co-sponsored by different RCAs. For example, the Pahoa Town, that's going to be getting the repainting effort is going to be getting underway shortly. We're going to be contributing to that as best we can. The Isaac Hale Beach Park effort, we'll be touching upon that later on this evening. And then the Resilience Hubs is still ongoing work. I did want to spend a little bit of time on the Pahoa Village Master Plan. So I'll jump to the next slide. Thank you. What you see before you is just a quick snapshot from the community development plan for the Puna area. There are some different areas that are highlighted as being you know, commercial or you know, residential, rural. The Pahoa Regional Town Center has been identified as one of those key areas that really is a core to that that general vicinity. So the reason why we're highlighting it is in the past couple of years, the county planning department has attempted to move forward a master planning process, and it's gotten sidetracked a little bit due to some you know, prior eruption events. So we are making another run for it. The Built Environment RCA really is trying to position itself as almost a subcommittee to the Puna CDP Action Committee. So we've reviewed and provided feedback on the draft scope of service for getting that master plan underway, and that's what we really want to push forward within the next you know, few months and into this next year is getting a consultant on board to assist with this effort. And at this current time, we anticipate that that master plan process probably will be about an 18 to 24 month process, and really trying to tie in investment and land use into something that's really usable on the ground to see development managed thoughtfully as we move forward. Lastly, again, I just want to make a quick plug for what our general purpose is. If people want to get involved, again, it's the overall realm of what we look at as, you know, land use and development patterns. People have a concern or interest in development construction, as well as infrastructure and investment. So again, if you have an interest, let us know, please. Also, I open up to my co-chair if there's any words you want to share, or any words of wisdom that you see from your side as far as a community member in this this venue that we've been managing over the last couple months.
Mahalo, Garrett, and aloha mai kako. Happy New Year, all. And I would like to also thank everyone for giving us the honor to be able to discuss all of our moving forward after the historic eruption. I also want to thank and acknowledge the state of Hawaii and Uncle Bob, who is with us this evening, for helping us move forward from the state and county level, which is a really great luxury that we certainly enjoy. In our specific committee, we've had very, very good productive discussion, not always easy. And again, thank you all for putting up with sometimes my my verve and pointed questions, which I believe we all understand moving forward. We must bring to the forefront what is of concern of our community. And I hope that I can provide a voice in that respect. I also would like everyone to know that on the state level, as we come upon a new day and a new legislative session, I look forward to the county and state working together with our community to provide peaceful, respectful enjoyment of our new coastline. And given that the FEMA timeframe is upon us, and the focus has been immediately shifted to Pohoiki, given the funding that is forthcoming, in the short term, that is what we must deal with and shall deal with today. The Ohana has, and thankfully, to our Ohana and Pohoiki, of which I stand with shoulder to shoulder, for setting the foundation and the intentions to revitalize and make sure that our community has somewhere to enjoy peacefully, respectfully moving forward. Given the roads that are going to be recovered, thank you, Public Works, for working diligently and tirelessly, I'm certain, with FEMA. Pohoiki Road and Highway 137 will provide access to our whole new shoreline and also give us a lot of opportunity if we do it together and we do it right. We take care of our Pohoa town, which needs a really new revitalization, no question. And in that light is the gateway to our lower Puna in this new day. I trust the state and county will see our plight as we recover not only from the eruption, but now from COVID, economically, socially. And I trust that we all collectively can put into effect all of our good work. And I appreciate and am humbled by being a part of this effort. And I really hope that we all stay safe continue to work in the long term for our generations to come, as my papa said. And I thank you kindly for allowing me to be part of this. Mahalo nui, and Akua bless us all. Thank you.
Mahalo nui, Auntie. You are always so poetic. And we really appreciate your strong leadership and advocacy for community throughout this process. So thank you, Auntie and Garrett, for leading the Built RCA. Wanted to introduce the Natural Environment Resilience Capacity Area. Community co-chair is Franny Brewer. County co-chair is Bethany Morrison, Michelle Agbige. Ladies, take it away.
Hi, yeah, I'm Franny Brewer, and thank you for giving us a chance to discuss the natural environment of Puna, which maybe sort of fades out of people's view. It's always there on the sidelines, but it's just so important for our health and well-being that we have a healthy natural environment around us. So we've been, I guess we can go to the first slide. I might jump around a little bit here. Sorry if I don't go by the bullet points, but things overlap, so they're not exactly in one category. But we got off to sort of an uncertain start. We weren't really sure where we were going with it, and so we finally started to pick up some traction. So what we really are looking for going forward is for folks to volunteer. And we don't have as many people on our committee, but I'm thinking that now that we have some projects identified that we want to work on, if folks are looking to get involved, there might be a specific project that really appeals to you. So as I go through this, think about, oh, that sounds like something I would like to do. The first piece, basically just building out networks, supporting the Big Island Safe Drinks Study, drinking water, and sort of just in general, we were really trying to identify what kind of projects are out here that work on aspects of the natural environment. The BID study is more of an example of the kind of projects that are sort of creative and interesting and innovative that we think could really help Puna in the long run. That's a study being done by Hilo, looking at drinking water, everything from catchment to municipal to wells, and looking at all different aspects of water and how water systems could be improved and what the needs are. And right now it's just a little pilot study, and they're hoping that the results of the study will help them get this much bigger National Science Foundation grant. And I, spoke with those researchers and said, hey, we would like to put the energy of these resilience community groups behind that, because I think that that's something that Puna could really use. And looking towards the future, when the results of that study come out, how do we disseminate that information? So think just projects like that, really trying to find those things and find ways that we can tie that in and put the support of our resilience folks behind that. So that's one. One of the bigger things that we really, certainly with my role at BISC and just in general with looking at resilience in Puna, there's a lot of still continue to be, even post Isel, a lot of issues with albizia in Puna. And there have been some attempts to resolve some of these issues, but things don't always work out exactly the way you want them to. One of the common issues that we have is people being unable to afford to treat albizia on private property. So either they themselves have albizia on their property that they need to remove, or their landlord does, or there's one next door that's on private property that unfortunately nobody will take down, the owner won't respond, that sort of thing. And although I can really supply the information about albizia, what I'm really hoping for is there are folks there. I've already spoken with Susie at Economic Development, and we've kind of talked about maybe some overlap between finding a way to get funding for folks who need to take down these hazardous trees that are hanging in their houses that cannot be treated. So if people have background in sort of setting up funding for people in need, anybody who's worked on sort of the ERAP program or something like that, would really love to talk to you. So I would love to hear from folks who might have some experience with that. Also with albizia, we'll be running BISC will be running an education program with Susie Osborne and her nonprofit down in Nanavale. So we're looking to educate people on that. So that'll be a project that'll be coming up over the next year. And just some general things with trying to complete the mitigation of albizia along major arteries in Puna, for instance, Kahakai, we'd like to try and secure funding to be able to complete the removal of the albizia along Kahakai. That's not planned currently. There's no money coming for that. And we think that it's really important that those major arteries, many of which were identified in the mitigation plan in 2016, those have been taken care of, but there's still a lot of albizia out there on major arteries that if we get hit with another big storm like that, could be really dangerous. So we're still really focused on that. Some more fun stuff rather than just scary trees. We talked about it having a demonstration project, someplace really accessible, like hopefully around Pahoa or some places that people can really get to, that can show how you can use native plants in your own backyard, gardening, landscaping, like really well done. We have some folks already that I've been working with who are professional landscapers who specialize in native plants. And so we're pulling the information from them, but certainly anyone who's done a lot of native plant landscaping or gardening, not necessarily restoration, but just have you been able to use native plants on your property well and creatively. We'd love to start looking for a space somewhere around Pahoa that could be landscaped so that people would really be able to see that you don't have to necessarily use definitely you don't want to use invasive plants, but that there's a possibility to incorporate natives as well into your landscaping. So that's an effort. And let's see. Also, we want to support things that are already going on. There are volunteer opportunities. That was one of the things that we were going to talk about if we were in person. But there's a volunteer opportunity that happens quarterly right across from Black Sands off the highway at Keauhana Forest, run by Hawaii Environmental Restoration. And anybody can sign up for a work day there, and you actually get to work in a native forest that Jaya Dupuy and Amcodes have been working to restore. So I'm going to put the link for that in the chat. So if anybody's really interested in doing that, it's a wonderful project. It's a great day. You just walk out feeling really good and you get to meet some really cool native plants, including some endangered ones. So that's wonderful. And let's see, the last thing on the slide, we have some citric acid vouchers that are available at Ashley's office. So if folks are interested in trying to get those coqui frogs around your house quieted down, you can go ahead and contact Ashley's office and pick some of that up. And then finally, I'm going to put in, it's not on the slide, but I'm going to put a link in the chat to an ohia seed saving workshop that's happening this Saturday. It's virtual, it's totally online. It will teach you how to save seeds from ohia trees. And research shows that younger ohia trees tend to be really resistant to rapid ohia death. So if you've lost ohia and you want to kind of try and replant, this would be a really great opportunity to learn how to do that, collecting seeds yourself. And I think that kind of wraps it up. Bethany or Michelle, would you want to jump in?
No, you did a great job, Franny. Thank you.
Sure.
Mahalo nui, ladies, for all of your hard work in lifting up this capacity area and for the great projects that you are kicking off. Again, there's so much that is happening driven by community in partnership with county. So if there is something that really draws you in, go ahead and sign up via the form in the chat. Finally, last but not least, do want to introduce our Youth Resilience Capacity Area team. Community co-chairs also serve as our Lead for America Fellows, U'ilani Kuali'i and Hokulani Fortunato, with support from our county co-chair, Misty Carter. Hoku, if you could give the update for your RCA. Mahalo.
Okay. Mahalo, Ashley. Aloha, iahi kako o Hokulani Fortunato Ko'uinoa, and I'm one of the county co-chairs for the Youth Resilience Capacity Area. Our guiding vision for the OPO and our RCA is to promote a more meaningful affiliation with their AINA, their environment. We'll also encourage connections to ignite community-changing alliances through multi-sector teamwork. We'll also strive to ensure that our OPO feel empowered to embrace their self-identity by helping them understand who they are and how they can make an impact in the Puna community. During this next 90-day activation period, the Youth RCA team will be assigning action team roles to youth members and selecting a member to assume the responsibility of the community co-chair. We'll also be implementing OPO or youth into each of the other RCAs to allow further collaboration and project ideation that fall in line with their passions. We have plans to work alongside several Puna Strong grantees, such as volunteer agricultural work with Pohahai Kalani and attending workshops hosted by Lawa'eke Kahuna from Omaku'uke Kahua. Another big project we started coordinating entails the revitalization of mo'olelo or stories based in Puna. We've been meeting with UH professors Dr. Michael Bitters and Dr. Kerry Inglis, as well as Smithsonian's Kaleva Correa. The hope is to spotlight the valuable lessons that these mo'olelo hold and utilize it as grounding for our OPO to the place they live and call home. So if these are projects and opportunities that interest you, or if you know any OPO aged 14 to 23 who would love to step into leadership roles, please feel free to reach out via Zoom chat. Mahalo nui.
Thank you, Hoku. Ui, would you like to add anything else?
Well said, Hoku. Mahalo nui.
Mahalo. It is such a pleasure to have both of you at the county and for your leadership in this space. Thank you so much. We really appreciate all of your efforts. Okay. I don't know about you, but I'm really overwhelmed and just so proud of all of the incredible work that everybody is lifting up. Thank you for always showing up, having a really positive attitude. And instead of focusing on what we don't have and what we can't do, you are really finding ways to elevate the assets we have in Puna and find ways that we can do things based on what we have and our resourcefulness. So thanks. If you would like to join any of these resilience capacity area action teams, you can do that via the bit.ly link that is being dropped into the chat. Across all of our capacity areas, we do have Kuleana that we will be working on collectively. Again, it aligns with the Role Placemaking Innovation Challenge Cooperative Agreement that Douglas mentioned earlier, our agreement and grant funding with the USDA, some of the deliverables that we owe to them, which would also help to build capacity and strengthen our community, include establishing really clear resilience visions across capacity areas. We are using the logic model framework, which is something that state, federal, and philanthropic groups are using to understand what is it that folks want to do, and are they able to articulate the steps and identify resources and individuals that are needed to make those things happen. So that is a really great exercise we are going to be moving through with our community. The second group, a collective goal, is to finalize our asset and vulnerability map framework. This tool would be used to support all of the actions across capacity areas, and in times of disaster, we can leverage this to support our neighbors and call on those who have resources to help in emergency time. And finally, over the next few months, we'll be working to bring our heart and soul statements to life.